Hi everyone, Momo-Dog here with a new video. Please excuse my voice, I know it sounds a little different, I'm still a bit ill. Yeah, let's get right into the video. So this video is mostly about Grey Hell Fury, and the reason why this is super interesting for Devilgen, or maybe even Mishima players in general, but mostly focusing on Devilgen here, is because the Grey Hell Fury will show you why, like, it gives you reason to go for one or the other Hell Sweep. You're gonna understand what I mean as the video continues and like, as it goes on. But what I've been looking into much more recently is how Grey Health works and how removing it works, because I just recently found out that if you hit your opponents, they do actually end up losing a chunk of their Grey Health, which I never realized. I never really took a look at that until like a month ago, and I've been looking into it much more recently, which kind of changed how I approached the usage of my Health Sweep, and kind of does work wonders, so I'm gonna demonstrate you what I mean real quick. So check the Jin's health. As you can see, this is, without heat, it's 13 chip damage in total. 10 from the move itself and 3 because of the wall stun, because of the wall crush. Wall crushes always give 3 extra chip damage. And when I land this health sweep on him, he's left with like 2 grey health, maybe even 1, I'm not sure. But let's say I go for the launching sweep instead. He has a ton of grey health left, which ends up being recoverable, and I'm not sure what I'm gonna title this video. I'm probably gonna title it something like Devilgen's biggest weakness, because it is true. Devilgen's biggest weakness in my eyes is the fact that he always leaves his opponents with a lot of recoverable health. So let's say we go for the average electric combo. The enemy has 38 recoverable health, and then when you go for the health sweep BNB, for example, 24 recoverable health. And my point is that against Devilgen, it's super easy to, once you're left with a lot of grey health, to pop that heat, especially when you're in rage, and then try to hit him a lot or try to pressure him, because while those panic moves may be annoying to deal with, I don't think they're the strongest. So if you do end up baiting one, he's either launched and you get a full, like you recover the entirety of your health when you're in heat, or you just get to keep hitting him, pressuring him, and even on block you recover health, even much more so while you're in heat. So in my eyes, Devilgen's biggest weakness is just, since a lot of his damage stems from grey health, like launchers, counted launchers, not really from poking, which is the best way to not build up grey health, which is the reason why in my eyes characters like Dragunov are much better suited for the meta right now. Nina also, because they have so many good ways of landing standing damage, which isn't recoverable. Not the case with Devilgen really. So yeah, that's why I think it's kind of tough. So like you get your health sweep blocked, for example, when they have a lot of grey health left, you just lose the entirety of the room because they recover so much health, and when you don't have heat left yourself, which does end up happening quite a lot, you're just in a very, very, very bad position as Devilgen. So what I've been looking into recently, I know I've yapped a lot now, is how do I leave my opponent with as little grey health as possible. And I've come to the conclusion that CD44 is actually your best tool for that. In general, high damaging moves, backfire 2-3 for example, would also remove quite a lot of grey health. So let's say we do this again. This also removes quite a lot of grey health, for example. So like hitting your opponent, that's the main point. You want to hit your opponent and you don't want to hit him with a launcher. This sweep is a launcher, so kind of counterproductive for the purpose we're going for right now. But what we want to do is we want to build up grey health and we want to remove it to, turn it into real damage. So if you think about it theoretically, and this is the interesting part about the video, if I build up 13 chip damage with this, right, and I immediately follow up with the CD44 after, and he's left with 2 grey health. He's left with 2 grey health. 13 chip plus 35 damage from the sweep. Subtract 2, you're left with, what is it? Is it like 46 real damage? Should be, yeah. I think it's 46 real damage. So your health sweep turned into a 46 damage low in theory. 46 non-recoverable damage. And I think what I've been focusing on much more recently is just combining both grey health and my other options. So what I've been doing a lot at the wall recently, for example, instead of going for the launching sweep, where I kind of dislike the Oki to begin with, like this also leaves them with a lot of recoverable health, unless they get up immediately and take it to the back, but that's not gonna happen, trust me. That back 4 when it lands grounded is gonna be 100% recoverable health, so I'm kind of not a huge fan of it. And that's why I've been doing things like, let's say this Jin has like 30 recoverable health, right? And I get him to keep blocking. Oops. Got a misinput there. But I get him to keep blocking. Let's say I chain Dominic on plus at the wall, for example, right? I don't know why I'm dropping this constantly. Let's say I land like 2 of these in a row, right? Since he's conditioned, maybe. I've conditioned him with back 4-2 after in prior rounds or whatever. And he has a lot of gray health now. There are rounds where I loop like 2 to 3 CD44s in a row at the wall. And combined with the gray health they had before, it turned into so much real damage that I had such a huge advantage at the wall. And by looping these CD44s, I just straight up won the round. Because even if they activate heat, they don't have much recoverable health anymore. So I just I could just kind of chill, you know. I could take more risks. The biggest risk you can take with Devil Jin is getting launched when they have a lot of gray health and they have heat available, because then you're just kind of giving away all of the lead you've had. And this is pretty much how I've worked around it. I try to just hit them with CD44 or, you know, higher damaging mids that aren't launchers, or like I don't really try to hit them with launchers anymore, and just try to remove their gray health in a way. But in order to remove gray health, obviously you need to build up some gray health. So how do we do that? Either you do it by stacking chip damage at the wall, or you land a launcher, or, you know, what you can also do is landing the launching health seed. And everything I've explained so far is pretty much the reason why I think your first health seed should always be the launching one. Because it builds up gray health, and you can remove that gray health. So like, let's say this Jin, he has 23 recoverable health. Let's say I build this up with this is like 20. And then I go in and hit him. I can also hit him with pokes if I really want to. As you can see, his gray health keeps declining. So theoretically, it's not dumb at all to go for that recoverable health on the launching sweep, since it's more damage in total, and then trying to turn it into real damage by hitting them. And that's kind of what my logic has been recently, and why I've been using CD44 much more, especially at the wall. This is the reason why. It's because of the gray health theory. Like, I've been trying to remove gray health as much as possible, because I feel like the rounds I lose the hardest are the ones where my opponent has a lot of gray health and they land a launch or whatever on me, or like they just keep hitting me while they have a lot of recoverable health. They just enter heat and I'm just kind of fucked. So that's what I've been trying to avoid the most with Devil Jin recently, because I think that's his biggest weakness. Opponents just landing a comeback by recovering their health, and Devil Jin does build up a lot of recoverable health. And something else for that matter, what I personally think Devil Jin needs at this point is something to also remove gray health entirely. Like, I don't see why this shouldn't remove gray health entirely. Currently, the only way Devil Jin can remove gray health entirely is by using a rage art. Every character in the game has that. And from what I've seen, the moves that completely remove gray health are something that like break your bones or like break your neck or whatever, like Shaheen forward backed or Nina throws or Dragunov tackle throws. But this literally makes you explode. Why wouldn't this make you, like, why wouldn't this remove all the gray health you have? You know, I think this would be a pretty neat buff for Devil Jin. And something Kira mentioned that I also kind of agreed with was making CD1 remove a slight bit of their gray health at the very least. Like, it doesn't have to remove all of the gray health, but maybe like removing 15 gray health, the way, for example, wall breaks do, would be a very good buff to remove, since right now I don't really see a lot of purpose for it in combos, except maybe after the Hell Seed launch, but even then I don't see much purpose for it. He's chunking them in the ground, so, like, he's slamming them so fucking hard, and kind of feels like it does nothing in longer combos, especially after all the scaling nerfs. I feel like this would also be a very appropriate buff for Devil Jin. Like, gray health, him having ways to deal with gray health would be really appreciated, since he's like one of the characters that build up the most gray health in general. And again, I think it would be best if this removed gray health entirely, so you don't have to opt for the rage art to remove all of it. But yeah, rage art is also a way to remove gray health entirely, and you can theoretically turn this house into a real 63 damage, I believe it is. But yeah, this pretty much sums up the gray health theory and what I've been looking into the most recently. I just wanted to give a quick report on it because I do think it's pretty useful information. Might not have been the most exciting video, but I think you can translate this to your own characters too. Doesn't matter who it is, doesn't have to be Mishimas, though it is probably the most useful for Mishima since they have such high combo damages. Yeah, but you can translate this to any of your characters, unless you have ways of consistently removing gray health anyway, then this video probably doesn't matter to you as much. But yeah, that was the video. I hope you learned a lot from it. Momo-Dog out, and I hope I'll get to see you in the next video.